Hello everyone, Kenti Tiger here with Bengali Engineering and Play. We are back in Space Engineers. We are continuing on in the series of refitting the Concorde. So the very end of the last episode, I kind of gutted the back end of the ship here. So there were basically bunches and bunches of um, tanks back here, oxygen tanks. So do we really need that many oxygen tanks? Don't know. Maybe, maybe not. So what I wanted to do was figure out the best methodology of potentially uh, making everything work here. So the couple things that we absolutely have to have. So oxygen tanks are a great thing. We have um, 6 oxygen tanks forward, and we have uh, basically 7 oxygen tanks here aft. Now, the only thing using oxygen in this entire ship is obviously the air vents. We're not using oxygen for really anything else. Um, so, do I really need to have all of these oxygen tanks, forward and aft? And I think the answer is no. There may actually be some other tanks, uh, in some other places amidships. I'm not sure if I put them in or not. One of the other things that I noticed was I had some issues here that I believe I have corrected. So if you see this here, um, there is a connection methodology here. So this is up and down connected and then heads aft here. The same thing on this side. So there's the potential here. We are no longer connected forward to aft. So I basically broke my connection here. So what's the intention here? Well, the intention here is, so here's a number 9, which is edge piece. And what I want to do is go ahead and create a connector, which is to say a fully integrated mechanism for everything here. So there's that. I need a 5, a 6, and 5. Okay. So there's the back of the 5. So facing the reactor there, I can do a 5 and a 5. And then a 6 here in the center, which is ultimately going to connect everything in, including I have now reconnected into this forward access area. So you can see the door reopened up there. What I do not know at this point is what these are doing. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is eliminate these. All right. So these are the ones that go out to the wings. Okay. So these are my singular connection points. I don't really need to do anything. So these are now connected across, which is exactly what I want. Do I want? So the question here is, how big is this bay going to be? How big does it need to be? That sort of potential kind of stuff. I think here again, trying to figure out what I'm going to do a piece at a time. So we need a T here. So there's my T. So the T goes there, and then I need to reverse this. So it goes there. So that's that. And then the potential here is that this is going to travel aft to connect everything at this end. So what I think, and I'm not positive about this, but what I think is that um, potentially up here, I eliminate this bottom piece because I don't know that I need this for anything. So me eliminate that, and then I need to see what this actually is, and it may be a nothing. I think it is a nothing. So let's eliminate this as well. Including this. Okay. So ideally would be a row of gas generators. 2 and 7. So, okay, these are facing up, which I actually want them to be facing up, so you can see yeah, because I want to be able to see the indicators up there. So this will also interconnect across, which is good. So we need 1, 2, 3. I'm going to reverse these and do 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and I think, yes, those are the super gas generators, which is what I wanted. Okay, now we need a corner here on both sides, so a number 8 in this case, and this is exactly what I want right there. So it's going aft, it's going up, and it's coming inboard. And then we're going to do the same thing on this side. So it's going up, it's going aft, and it's going inboard. And the reason I want that there is because that's going to be my cross connector, which ultimately is going to be this thing here, this connector going across. All right, so we have a 4 and a 4. Now, here's what I want to do. This is going to be an edge connector. Turn sideways. Because, okay. So here's the edge connector, and I'm facing the opposite side, so it's really hard to see, but that's going to connect onto the reactor. It's going to connect onto the port and starboard, and then it's going to have a port facing down. And why did I want the port coming down? Because I'm going to do an elbow here, and then there's going to be a connector right there that's facing forward. Or is that facing forward or facing aft? Facing forward. Yeah. Okay. So we're going to add some batteries. There's a battery there. Come There's a battery there. There's a battery there and there. Had to think about what I was going to do there. Okay, so there is that, and then this is the interior connector. I'm going to turn that sideways. I'm also going to number 8. I have number 3. So what I'm going to do is put that connector camera inside here, which is what I just did there. Connector 8. This is the bay connector. Hangar bay. Okay, so I have batteries. So let's go ahead and add the batteries to the batteries. Battery shift. Rather than a shift, off and off. Back to the bottom, so we have our gas generators here. These are the aft gas generators. Gravity generators, gas generators, control, gas generators. We turn them off on the toolbar, off on the terminal. Now, we should have no oxygen generators, which is correct. Okay, all of the oxygen generators are gone, which is exactly what I wanted. Okay, hangar bay. So there's my connector for the hangar bay. This is a camera. Hangar connector. So this one now goes up into the camera's docking. We leave it on the toolbar, but I want to turn it off on the terminal. Alright, and then we have all these. Alright, so these should be our connectors. Save. We'll leave those on. They do have an inventory, so we'll leave that on, but we'll turn that off. Alright, so we should be down to our 3. Yes, we are. Okay. The question is what to do here. I think I'm going to go ahead and build these up. So we have this here. One of the things I did before so the downside to this hangar bay, and I ran into this before, there's no way to get into the interior of the ship. So this is a completely external hangar bay. No way to get to it from inside the ship. Not ideal, but this is a refit. So it wasn't like I built this potential in there. Now, what I could do potentially is move these generators down um, and make a way in, or potentially eliminate, something back here. Don't really want to do any of that, but all right. So this vessel now has 8 super gas generators. So there's 6 here, and then there's 2 forward. That potentially would be enough, which means then I could put either tanks or another pair, which is really, say, another 12. Sorry, another 6 back here. Okay, so one of the things that I do need to do is finish with what I was doing here, which is really to connect everything in aft. Now, I'm not sure what that is there. Let's go out and look and see what this is. So that shouldn't be an issue. No. Okay, good. So this should be a 5, which will be my corner piece. This will be a 4. And we'll do the exact same thing over here. So we'll add a 4, a 4, a 4, a 5, and rotate the opposite direction, which is here. All right, so theoretically we have an entire connector assembly back here. So 9, well, this can be an 8, sorry, which in this case would be, there we go, which, oh, no, this would be a 9, I'm sorry. Because what I want this to do is meet up aft, well, sorry, forward, which is this piece, and then side to side and down. So this will be a number 5, which is this, and then this will be another number 9 rotated the opposite. Should be this here. Right. And this one can be an 8 because so we're going up and then inboard, and this is the same thing. We're going up and inboard, so we can connect everything on here. Do I want to connect to there? No, I really don't. Okay, what is here? This can be effectively 5, which is there, there, and there. And then this here can be a 9 turned sideways, like this. Okay, so we have it aft going into the tank, the 2 sides, and then up, which connects it on into the other. So now we have a fully integrated system here that connects side to side, connects all those tanks aft, and then we decide, do we want more generators or something else? What do we want here? Makes for an interesting idea. I guess you can never have too many oxygen generators, huh? So, 7. I'm going to go ahead and flip these over now because. So, first we're going to put these 3 back here, which will actually give another lateral connector. And then we'll put 3 more here. Now, what I think I will do, just for fun, oh darn, because the camera's there, can't do that. Can't put them here though. All right. So we were going to go side to side. We're now going to put T's in here. So 4 and a 6, which is a T. Make sure my T's are facing the right direction, which is that. And we go in there and in here. Now, what am I doing with these? As soon as the game unfreezes, we are putting in air. Alright, now that should be the length of the ship, which means my left is the port side. So this is air vent. Port. Yes. So air vents we have up there. Come all the way down here. Air vent, and this is air starboard. So we go up here and put those in air vents, turn them off on the toolbar, and off from here. We added those 6 more, so these are gas generators, which are right here. Save. So we'll turn them off on the toolbar. There is an inventory, which definitely we will be using, and then off. Alright, and we're back to our originals. Okay. Now, one of the things that I would like to do is add another camera. In fact, I think I will try and add 2 cameras. Figure out where everything is. The question is, see, the miner I was originally going to put in here really isn't going to be effective for this one. So the only potential here would be to put a connector on the top. So here is Bengali. Okay. So we change how we do this. So now we want to come across, which means I can use nines. Like this. So we do actually use no, nines is correct. I was just facing them the wrong way. So it's actually this. So 9, 9, 9, which interconnects all of those. Now, my oxygen generators still go up here, but I'm going to recess them just slightly. So 7. Okay, so there's the connector on the side. So we're going to recess these up here like this. So 1, 2, and 3, and then we're going to, that's not what I wanted, spin them like this, 1, 2, and 3. So, what I want is, oh, actually this is going to be a T. So that one will go there, this one will go here, and then a 5. Which would go here. All right. Okay, which is about right. 2, 3. Okay, and here is the challenge. So, because of where that connector is, then my door is actually going to come up to that. Even though I technically don't need that one anymore. Okay, now here's the next problem. Because Keen has no doors that are large-scale doors, then I need these are the doors I'm looking for. These are part of the used Shadow Flux used equipment. It's actually a really neat door. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. One of the other things that I think I'm going to do with this is change everything to light armor. So everything on this is heavy armor. Now the downside to the heavy armor is that I have a lot of things that are light. Okay, so we have all these scaffolding plate which are light. The solar panels are light. They're basically bulletproof glass. I have bulletproof glass. So I think having heavy armor may not really be of any advantage at all. It adds weight, so I don't know. So it's one of those issues of consideration, I think. All right. So here's another quandary. Buttons. So this is the generic, key generic button panel. Don't need that, don't need that. I do need that. So what I want to do is when I add that connector in, I want to go ahead and put a docking camera on it. So number 7. We're going to actually put it like this so it's out of the way, but is still part of this mechanism down here. So this is a button panel, aft, underside. Right now it's nobody, but I have doors also that are nobody. So what I was intending on doing here, actually, let me go ahead and do, okay, so our gas generators, once again, are part of, oops, okay. Okay, and these together are doors hanger. Alright, so select everything, me, yes. It's a little premature, but I can work with that. Gas generators is what we want. Gas. Huh. Apparently deleted. So that button should open and close my hangar doors. So right now they should be opening and open before I actually get to them. Okay, my gas generators have vanished. Any idea what happened to that? So off on the toolbar, I want them on the inventory, and then not sure what happened there. Gas generators. So on in the inventory, and then off in the terminal. Okay, which is exactly what I wanted. Okay, and these are doors hanger. So I turn them off on the toolbar config, off on the terminal, because I'm only using the groups here. So we have a button panel. The button panel off on the configuration toolbar, and that goes into systems miscellaneous. Systems miscellaneous and off. We should now have our 3, yes. Alright. Yes, indeed, that is open, which is what I wanted. Okay. So we need a connector. And our so that should be right there. Alright, so this is connector hanger down. This is why I said I did that a little bit prematurely. Cameras. Camera hanger connector. Hanger forward connector. Camera hanger down connector. Alright, so connectors. This is cameras docking. Save. On the toolbar. Off on the terminal. And then we have a connector, which is basically going to be the same thing. We have connectors here. Save. We want it on the toolbar. It does have an inventory, and off on the terminal. And then we should be down to our 3 again. Alright, so we have quite a bit of flexibility here in how we do everything. Here's what I had in mind. Connectors have their wonky states. So what I'm going to do is potentially go outside here. I need to add one more thing to my mods list. And this is shadow flux. So what I do when I build or modify something, I actually document all of the mods. Totally sounds like OCD, right? Document all the mods that it needs. And in this case, because it's not going to end up on the workshop, I'd love to post this, but then I'd have to give everybody access to the Kenti blocks mod, which don't want to do that because I don't want to get involved with copyright issues, um, because I have borrowed stuff, and because I don't have any real easy methodology to get in touch with those people, then I um, don't really want to open up, you know, bad business until I have a methodology of actually communicating with people. So anyway, all right. So having done that, renders mining. I have so many miners and stuff that I don't know if I'm grabbing the right one, but what I want to do is actually put a miner in here that I can use. Um, okay, I think that one's it. Yep, I think so. Yep, that looks like it. Okay. So one of the things, I run this into the ship here, and then actually rotates onto its own on grid here, and okay, right under the cockpit, I think, is the I ran into this before, is I have no idea. So it's like it's bouncing off of something, but there's no explanation as to what it's bouncing off of. So it just okay. So I should have reactor and ice. All right, so it is connected. So so those are mains. Turn those off. 9, 8, which was gyros. Off. Thrusters main maneuvering. Okay, so theoretically, this should not conflict. Right. Okay. Docking is a potential nightmare. All right. Question is, will those close? Yeah, it looks like they will. A little purple dot, I don't know what that is or why it's there, but it's actually the counter to this door. So for example, let's see if we can get to, alright, so there you can see it on the left side of the screen. So if I tap this, you see the door actually goes in the opposite direction it is. So it's some kind of counterweight, counterbalance. I don't know what that is. So this one you can't see because it's all, you know, embedded in the underside there. All right. Okay, so this is good and bad. In fact, you know, probably intelligence would suggest that we not put the miner in here yet. Idea why it can't just go in and out of there. All right, so let's close the door. Somewhere along the line this got turned off. Broadcasting got turned off. That was probably when I disconnected it. Okay, so something I want to investigate. How far is this end to end? 226. So, my thought process here is, do I want to add some sort of self-repair mechanism? What do I mean by self-repair mechanism? So there are two basically nanotechnology. Do I want to call it nanotechnology building systems that I know about in the game. I've used both. They both work pretty good. One is called actually the Nanite Control Factories. There's been several iterations over time. It is an extremely powerful system. Um, the potential build distance is about 300 meters. So the reason why I turned the antenna on is I wanted to see if I'm at the nose, can I repair damage at the nose? So this thing is a little about 230 meters long, and it looks like that would work effectively. The question is where to put it. It is big. It's That's one of the downsides to the nanite building system, or the nanite control factory rather, is that it is very large. Um, the the nanobot build and repair system is much smaller. It's the size of uh, it's the size of an assembler, so you can insert it in a lot of different places. The downside to it, which makes it more challenging than the Nanite Control Factory mod. So the Nanite Control Factory about a 300 meter limit, whereas the nanobot build and repair system has a 75 meter limit. So I think arguably less overpowered, very effective. So what I would have to do is actually potentially put multiple systems in to cover the entire 230 something meters of this vessel, which may or may not be good. It would fit from the perspective of adding them in would in fact, if I pried some things apart, thought about things, and actually put some in where the batteries are now, then you wouldn't even see it. It would just be there, which may actually be potential. So putting them somewhere in any of this stuff here may be an option, but then that means I now have I have another bot that is potentially needing to be fixed, or so I don't know. It's kind of one of those. Do I want to do it? I do. So first things first. So right now the system is pretty much done. There's not a whole lot left. So what I do want to do here, so I'm going to do a Control B, which will actually copy this thing. So Concorde Passenger Liner 1 is this one. In fact, let me go ahead and delete this. Yes. So the Concorde Passenger Liner there at the top is the original. So what I want to do here is info, Concorde Passenger Liner, and this is Mark 1. Grid mass 26 million. Pretty heavy. tank or two, and then put the nanobot repair system in where a tank is now, as in a hydrogen tank, because I've got a bazillion hydrogen tanks. All right. All right, so this should show up as a Mark 1. Yep, 1. I don't know whether I would really need to say passenger liner on there. Maybe I could just say Concorde liner Mark 1. What if I do that? Details. Rename. Concorde liner Mark 1. Concorde liner Mark 1. Close. Alright. So here's the next thing I need to do. There is a projector that happens to be right here. Projector on blueprints. Liner Mark 1. Okay. Not sure what those are there. This setup. Keep projection show only buildable. Alright, so that's what I want to eliminate. So keep projection. That's important because basically when it lines up and you do not have a keep projection, it turns itself off. So it just, the blueprint disappears out of it. I don't know if that's a bug or that was something intended. I have no idea. Okay, so here's a problem. Obviously this is way off and it's also upside down. Now it's upside down because it's upside down. Alright, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to go amidships. Can we go amidships? Possibly not. I guess there was a reason I put it underneath, didn't I? Trying to get somewhat centered here. Doesn't have to be exclusively centered, so I'm going to put it right here. 8G. I want a projector, which is right there. Okay, so how do you know which way a projector is facing? So let me turn myself over. Keep in mind that the ship is indeed upside down. Okay, oh darn. Okay, that cross on the top that looks to be on the top at this point is the top. The front is where you have this half thing. Okay, so facing the bottom of the screen is the front. So what I want to do is turn this thing over, and then I'm going to put it right there. So potentially now that will be, if once I load the projection into it, then I should be all right. Okay, now here's the other problem, is that I just put it inside, which is a hole. So let me get my there it is. So we'll do basically the same thing here. S6. And put a glass plate over the top of it. Right there. So we can see it, but it's there. All right. Okay, and projector. So we'll turn it on or off. Needs to be a me again. Okay, this is going to be like generator, projector. Oh, it is just projector. Okay. Blueprints. Mark 1. Okay. I moved the projector. So let me get out of here. No, we will continue on with G. All right. Here's where the fun begins. Okay, decrease pitch, increase pitch, decrease yaw, increase yaw, decrease roll, increase roll. And let's go ahead and remove from toolbar. Darn it. Decrease roll, increase roll. There it is. Okay. So, pitch, decrease, increase, yaw, decrease, increase, decrease, increase, roll. Okay. Then we go back to number 8. There's actually a method to the madness here, believe it or not. Decrease horizontal, increase horizontal, decrease vertical, increase vertical, decrease forward, increase forward. And then we'll actually add this on or off right there. Okay. So basically I'm programming the 12 functions to align everything. This is important. having said that, I'm over an hour again. So, what I'm going to do is save. I'll do this off screen. I'm going to save. So I have a blueprint including all of the physical hardware that exists right now, plus the configurations, which is basically what I just set up. Okay, so I want to get this back to a 1. Escape to get out of this, T to get out of the cockpit, and then we'll back off away from this so we can get a good blueprint of this, which is a Control B. Cancel. Control B. All right. Oh. Okay. Delete. Yes. Delete. Yes. Delete. Delete. Yes. Okay. So that was my oops. Just need to come to a terminal. Okay. Info, and we are calling this Concorde liner Mark 1. Control B. Should say Concorde liner Mark 1. Exactly. That's what I want. Okay. With that having been said, this is Kenty Tiger signing off, and we will see you next time.